This week on Creator Sessions, I am coming to you from my home office because of, well, COVID. We are back this week on Creator Sessions with our first duo, the Shires. Now, duos are common. Country duos are even more common. But the Shires are a British country duo. So they're basically unicorns. And they met because Ben, who was inspired by Lady Antebellum, decided to put out a Facebook post looking for a female country artist, and that led him to Chrissy, and together they created the Shires. They were the first ever British act to win a CMA award when they accepted the Jeff Walker Global Artist Award, which celebrates outstanding achievements by a country act outside of the US. And since forming 7 years ago, they've performed at Wembley Stadium, the Grand Ole Opry, the famous Bluebird Cafe, and have opened for Little Big Town, Sam Hunt, Shania Twain, and even Carrie Underwood. I love this creator session because they take us on a journey from how they met to creating their earliest music and all that has followed. I wanted Ben and Chrissy to be a part of Creator Sessions so badly because I love their story. Country music, it's not the genre of choice for the British, but they loved it. And as a result, they have created something really rare and especially beautiful.
Hello, I am Chrissy.
And I'm Ben.
And we are the Shires.
And we are a UK country duo. We make country music from the UK.
We do.
Which is interesting to a lot of people, including us. But yeah, we're so excited to be here at the Creator Sessions.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to share some of our songs and also the stories behind the songs. It's great fun for us because we get to talk about our songs in a lot more detail than we normally do. And also the kind of the process, I guess.
Yeah.
From when they've been written to the studio, to going live, and just talk about our journey, really, because it's been...
And also we're going to play the songs live as well.
We're going to play them as well.
We're going to do the acoustic versions of these songs. So yeah, we're excited.
I mean, we've been together, how many years now? 7 years?
That is correct.
7.
Yes, well done.
And when we first got together, I mean, country music wasn't, in the UK, it wasn't much of a scene, really, was there?
No, there was definitely a lot of people that kind of didn't like to admit that they like country music. And we were pretty excited I was excited that there was another person that enjoyed the genre, and you'd reached out to me saying that you'd like to write some country music and to sing some country music. And I was just super excited by the thought of that. And
I mean, we met on Facebook as well. It was so lucky. It was a complete chance. I put out a Facebook post saying, looking for a female country singer around London in the UK. And I was inspired by Lady Antebellum at that point. And someone said, I know this girl called Chrissy. And we got together. And yeah, like you say, it was amazing to find someone who loved country so much.
And we lived super close together as well. So literally, I think you sent me maybe 4 songs at the time. And I remember hearing the verse and the chorus of the first song and just falling in love with the song and super excited. And I think we emailed so quickly and just met up the next day. And the two of us just got together and we were like, do you like this song? Have you heard this band? And what about this song? And it was just so exciting that, we'd found each other and we kind of knew pretty instantly that
Definitely,
it was going to work.
Completely. So. And actually, it leads us nicely onto the first song we're going to play. And the first song was called Nashville Grey Skies. And I remember I wrote this on my sofa in my tiny flat in a place called St Albans, which is just north of London. And Chrissy,
this is the first flat also where I'd met you, because you've moved a good few times since.
Yeah, I think it might be the second flat actually. Yeah, they're both small though. They're both really small. And it was a crazy year for country in the UK because we had the TV show Nashville. Was a huge hit in the UK, and that was on a lot. And I was watching that. I actually wrote this song genuinely in sort of commercial breaks between the song. I had my guitar on my lap, and I was just kind of playing along as Nashville was kind of on. We also had Dolly Parton at Glastonbury.
That was a big moment. Yeah. I remember sitting. We weren't actually there to go and watch, but I remember sitting watching the telly and just seeing her to see that many people that loved watching Dolly up on stage was pretty incredible.
It was amazing.
A big moment.
And I had this dream. I sort of was there and was like, the TV show, Dolly, and I was like, maybe one day we could be playing a festival. We just met. We'd only been together a couple of months, but one day we could be playing a festival you'd have all these Brits in their Wellington boots in the rain.
Yes.
Dancing to country music, singing along to country music in the rain, in the mud. And
we genuinely, the both of us believed that. But like it seemed like a crazy idea to go and throw that out to other people, you know, like, because we just didn't know. It was nobody really that we knew kind of loved the genre of music. Yeah. So it was a kind of crazy idea at the time.
Definitely. And this is one of those songs that I remember sat there and it just kind of poured out. It really did. And I played this little riff. And I was like, we've got a really famous hymn here called Jerusalem, which is all about, building our own Jerusalem in England. And it's almost like an unofficial national anthem. And I was there, I genuinely was thinking about that at the time as well. And I was like, build our own Nashville. And I was like, oh, maybe we could build our own Nashville. They can't sue me as well, because that song, the hymn's been around, it's around for ages. I can't get sued for Jerusalem. But yeah, I wrote it, like I say, in between those commercial breaks. And I think it's that pure testament to like, I think when you're writing, like if you really believe in the kind of the what you're thinking about at that time, that comes across in the song, I think. And this is the first song we ever released.
The first song we ever released. I remember the moment you sent it to me, and I was in my old house in my kitchen where we often got together to practice a lot of our songs. And I just remember hearing the song and just being like, oh my gosh, I love this. I loved that guitar part. And it was just you like at home, just kind of recording kind of a demo of it. And I just remember hearing it and thinking, I love this song. Like we need to go and record it. And so I think we recorded it as a demo form pretty quickly, didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
And then it was the first song that I think we took into the studio, the first time of us actually being in the studio together that wasn't your spare bedroom.
Yeah.
And we got to be like really creative and like, you know, just build the track.
But it was on a shoestring, wasn't it? It was like we did it with all our friends.
Yeah.
We had our two producer friends and it was all favours, and like we asked our friend who was a songwriter but played drums as well. He came round, and you had a guitarist friend, Ben, who came and did it as well. And it was like, oh, maybe we could just, and it was really creative. It was like, we can just chuck this on. And I was playing mandolin, which I'd never played before.
Yeah.
I think Dan, the drummer, was playing bass, and it was all like, and then that song ended up on the radio. It was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, we were asked to get that recorded like ASAP at the time as well. So we'd sent it out to a lot of great radio people to hear the track. And it was only in demo form. And I remember Bob Harris at the time saying, we need this track. I want to play this track on the radio. And
He's
we were
like the country guy in the UK, the country
he's
DJ.
He's the man for country over here in the UK. And I remember him saying, we need to play it. I want to play it straight away. And the two of us were like, well, we've only got a demo of it currently. So we really need to do something like proper with it. And so there was a bit of a rush to try and get it done at the time. But I just remember that whole process being super exciting, being in that studio together and, you know, seeing how we worked in the studio as well.
I think I'll never forget hearing on the radio the first time. That was amazing. And then I think also the thought that from that tiny sofa, we ended up playing like Wembley Stadium, you know, supporting Jeff Lynne's ELO and playing this song there was just, I don't know.
And the wonderful sing-along part as well. That, That, you know, when you first wrote that, you would never have kind of thought of having an audience to be able to sing that song kind of with us. And there's always a moment that everyone, whoa, which everybody joins in and is always fun.
Yeah, definitely. It's still one of my favourites, you know, it's an old song for us, but should we do it?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
This is Nashville Grey Skies by us, the Shires. Well, they'll say it's way too cold for cut-off jeans, and they won't be drinking moonshine of GNCs. They'll be country boys at heart, dancing with sweet country girls all night. We can build our own Nashville underneath these gray skies. People will come, they'll come from far and wide. They'll leave their village green build our own Nashville. It's about time. Won't get that southern sun. We'll be dancing in the rain. And every single night we'll do it again and again. Whoa. All those country girls at heart, kissing those country boys in the dark. We can build our own Nashville underneath these gray skies. People will come, they'll come from far and wide. They'll leave their village greens and the big cities behind. We can build our own Nashville. It's about time. Whoa, 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 whoa. We can build our own Nashville underneath these gray skies. People will come from far and wide. They'll be dancing in the rain. People will come, they'll come from far and wide. They'll leave their village greens and their big cities behind. We can build our own Nashville. It's about time. I mean, I was right back there. I was right by that Wembley Stadium. What is it, 40,000 people? Whoa!
Yes. I'm thinking Wellies in the Rain.
Wellies in the rain. That's so British. It's like, we need subtitles on this video. I was thinking, wellies in the rain.
Wellies in the Rain.
Did they say wellies? What's a welly?
A Wellington boot.
But no, it's amazing, isn't it? Like that journey from, like I said before, from like the sofa, the couch to the stage. And I remember when you first hit that note on stage.
Goodness, yeah. That's beautiful.
Thank you very
Just
much.
exactly the same.
But I remember everyone started cheering, and we hadn't played live much together.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, I just didn't expect it. And it takes you in your chat, you're there, and I was like, whoa. And then I started doing it on stage, like the next show. I was like, it's amazing. And I think, for me, part of this whole process is like just, you learn it by doing it. And that's why we've been so lucky. We've done it the old fashioned way. We played like tiny, tiny shows to like 50 people. And then we, got to 100 and then 400. And now our own shows are like 2,000 people. And whereas I feel really sorry for those artists who win some talent show or something and get thrown right in at like 10,000 people.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, having that journey of being able to go from those small venues and, have that opportunity to kind of craft your songs along the way and see what songs kind of work, how to kind of command the crowd and, get them singing along. I remember that time when we went from kind of doing all standing venues to seated venues. And, even that was a confusing time for us because we, at the time, didn't feel like we could say, right, everybody up on your feet. And it's something that you kind of grow to kind of get used to. And you get up there and you're able to kind of get everybody up and enjoying themselves and singing along. And that's always good fun.
Totally. And it's funny, like that song was from our first album. And I think at that time we were playing to 100 people on our first tour.
Yeah.
And then...
and also that first album, the Brave album, was a combination of songs that you had written years prior to that. And I think that's often the case with first-time albums, that a lot of artists have been writing for years. You're looking for that big break and you're looking for that record deal. And all of a sudden you have this collection of songs that you've been writing for a long time, and a lot of them kind of made it onto the album. I know that we'd written our own songs as well. We'd collaborated together at that point too. So.
Yeah, and it's funny actually because it was the first album, and I had been signed years ago as a solo artist and didn't work at all. I had a record deal and it didn't work, and I had this very kind of skewed perception of what the music industry was. And I kept on saying to Chrissy, because everything just fell into place for us. You know, I think
it really did.
It did. I mean, the song went on the radio. Then the first tour was on the back of that promotion from the radio, and the tour sold out. You know, there were small venues, but it still sold out. And then the album came out, and I said to Chrissy, "Look, just keep our expectations low." You know.
Yeah, you was always trying to calm me down.
Well, because I just thought,
I was like, "This is amazing. This is so cool, and this is so easy."
But yeah, and we, the album did phenomenally well, against our expectations, and went top 10, and then we sold a lot of records. Went gold in the UK, which I was just never thought would happen ever. I couldn't
believe it.
And then
we even got a disc as well, which for us was like, what?
But then everyone was like, "Oh, it's time for the difficult second album."
Yes.
And I was like, and I didn't feel that at the time.
No,
I felt like the pressure was slightly off. I was more excited, maybe naively, I don't know. And we threw ourselves into the writing process.
I think with the success of that album also opened some doors for some more songwriters to come forward, and a lot more people came forward to write. And we from having that much time, we had so much ideas and material that we wanted to kind of get out some ideas to bring to songs. So that was quite exciting to collaborate so much more on that.
Definitely. And we'd, written, for this second album, My Universe, we'd written a lot. And it was quite close. This next song is called My Universe. And I think it's inspired particularly by the live thing, actually. Our show suddenly got a lot bigger, and we were playing to a few hundred, if not 1,000 or 1,500 people. And I think we were inspired by a lot of the big country acts. We'd started watching their live show, supporting them. And we supported Little Big Town, particularly, who were a massive US country act. And we just wanted some big songs to really help us play these bigger venues, I guess. And this song, it was funny because I wrote it with a guy called Martin Brammer, and I sent it to Chrissy and our manager. And I think I'd just written so much at that point for this album.
Yeah, it was one of those last ones that you had written for this album.
And I sent it, and I was just like, I wrote this song today. I'm not sure about it. I think it's okay. And I think I was just song blind. I'd just written too much. And you and Steve were both like, this is amazing.
We love this one. Yeah, this is great.
This song. And it ended up being the first, maybe the second single, was the title of the album. I remember that. And I told the video as well.
Yeah, well, it's so funny because, we'd just come from our kind of hometowns, and then all of a sudden we got to go and record this video for My Universe, the single. And genuinely, the both of us felt like it was like be a pop star for the day because we genuinely felt so glamorous. We were in LA, of all places, and I remember getting up at like 3 a.m. or something and being transported to like literally in darkness. And then all around us, this kind of the light.
It's like a dried out lake.
It was a dried up lake outside of LA. And I remember the light coming up and revealing this beauty. And the two of us were like, what? How are we here? How is this kind of happening to us? And yeah, there was like all these teams of people around us and, little old us.
Yeah, Winnebago.
Yeah. That was so much fun, wasn't it?
It was, but I think I loved it. It was great. It was so hot as well. But it's like the kind of progression, I think, and I think the song just led us to that point. Saying that, the version we're going to do is much more stripped back.
Yeah, so even that in itself, there's the kind of full band one that you hear on the record as well
really
as
rocking.
The ones that, when we get up on stage as well, the boys are just going for it. And this acoustic version requires a little bit more kind of a chilled, laid back version, a bit more, isn't it?
Definitely. This is My Universe. I don't know what I believe, but it's more than I can see. There are things in my heart, I just know what they are, like the way you look at me. It's like every star, Venus and Mars are falling in your eyes, and it's all mine. You only get one life, and I wanna live it, I wanna give it to you. No more goodbye, bye-byes. When I say forever, I mean forever I do. As long as the world keeps turning and turning, as long as gravity keeps my feet on this earth, you'll be my one, my all, my universe.
It's a distant memory, who I used to be, somewhere in the atmosphere, not here. And looking up at that midnight sky, I don't need to know why or what there is up above. I just need your love.
You only get one life, and I wanna live it, I wanna give it to you. No more goodbye, bye-byes. When I say forever, I mean forever I do. As long as the world keeps turning and turning, as long as gravity keeps my feet on this earth, you'll be my one, my all, my universe. Now I know what I believe. It's you and me. You only get one life, and I wanna live it, I wanna give it to you. No more goodbye, bye-byes. When I say forever, I mean forever I do. As long as the world keeps turning and turning, as long as gravity keeps my feet on this earth, you'll be my one, you'll be my all, you'll be my one, my all, my universe. Oh man, it's so strange, isn't it? Because like we're obviously living in very strange times.
Very strange times.
And this is the first time we've sung together in live. We sang on Zoom and stuff.
Yes. Yeah, it's been a long time. And I swear there is something really healing about it. Just hearing like the voices together, having the guitar there as well. And yeah, it's lovely. And it's, you mentioned it when we were kind of rehearsing. It's kind of like riding a bike. It's been a while since we've sung together, you know, and it's just, as soon as we get back together again, you just remember everything, like every little detail, and it's nice.
It's funny, like you said, about the healing and the kind of cathartic kind of nature of it, I think, because, you know, like I've really missed it. I've missed singing.
Goodness.
It's like, you know, I think, you know, I think what we do is quite important. I think when we had success, and I think that people don't talk about much is, you know, I kind of expected us to sort of, well, I didn't expect us to have the success we had, but when it happened, I just thought, my thinking before was that everything will be fine. Once we have sold X number of records, or once we're on the radio, everything will just be fine. And it just doesn't work like that.
No.
It just doesn't. It doesn't. Your goalposts change. You want different things, or maybe more things. But I think also you're kind of, I don't know, you start thinking differently, and that's. It was fascinating for me on the second record how I think we became a bit more introspective in our writing, particularly. And I mean, you take over because this is your song we're going to talk about.
Yeah. So the next song is a song that I wrote for the second album, the My Universe album. And it was a song that was like super personal to me. And we'd gone out to Nashville at the time, I think. I think maybe we'd flown into Nashville for a couple of days. We were out on tour with Little Big Town at the time, and we flew over to Nashville, had a few writing sessions out there. And I went into the room with 3 other writers at the time, and we decided, it wasn't actually my idea initially, it was Livy Jean who was in the session with us, and she said, I'd love to write a song about my dad. And I remember when she suggested that, I just had this like lump in my throat and thinking, I don't know how, because at the time I hadn't really spoken about my dad. It was something, my dad had passed away when I was just a little girl, and, you know, my family and I, we never really kind of brought up his name and stuff. So it was really quite like a hard kind of session for me to try and get some of those feelings and emotions out. But at the same time, it was so like kind of cathartic that we were sharing those same, you know, things that we loved about our dads. It was Livy Jean and Victoria Banks, both daddy's little girls, and we were all sharing our stories. And Jeff Combs was in the session with us as well. And it was just so wonderful to kind of get some of our feelings and emotions out. And I love the line. It was, I used to wrap my hand around his little finger, and it turns out he was wrapped around mine. And I remember that Victoria had that line, she was like, 1 second, I've got something like kind of for this song. And I remember her kind of going through her notebook at the time and saying, and just like reading that line out. And all of us were like, whew, how have you just kept that in your notebook for this long? Like, absolutely love that line. And it really made that song. The wonderful thing actually in particular is that this song, the 2 girls in the session with me, their dads were still here with them. My dad had passed away, and yet the song still kind of stood on its own, whether your dad was still with you or whether he had passed away. And it worked for kind of the both sides, which was pretty cool that it kind of worked out like that. But then also going to take it to the stage and performing it night after night, which was hard in itself, to get up on stage and like kind of pour your heart out and tell people about a really personal story. The amount of people that kind of came forward and said how much, you know, that song means to them and how they can relate to the same thing. And so many girls saying that's exactly my relationship with my dad. And, you know, the wonderful stories that kind of came out of, you know, such a personal story for myself, and also the dads that came forward. I was not expecting that. You know, I wrote it from the perspective of a daughter, and never even thought about, you know, all those dads thinking of their own little girl, and and how much comfort that song has brought to them as well.
And I think that's the thing you did so well in this song, is, you know, we're always trying to write something that's kind of specific to you.
Yes.
I think that and that becomes universal. And I think I've done it before. I've tried to write a song that everyone can sing along, everyone can relate to.
Mm-hmm.
When you try to make something universal, it ends up being smaller in a weird way. If you're just sat there going like, you know, oh, we're all happy people, it can work sometimes.
Yes, it can.
But it often doesn't. Whereas with this song, you just wrote something so personal. And I think everyone finds their story, their way to relate to it. And I think it's just such a beautiful song. And it's fascinating also that, you know, we didn't know this, but I also wrote a song about my dad at the same time. And on the album, they sit next to each other. And
well, that's the funny thing, is because, you know, usually when we write songs, a lot of our songs are from either a male-female perspective, or it's kind of
like
universal. Yeah. So anybody could be singing it. And this was the first time, like, the both of us had actually written really personal songs that wouldn't have worked necessarily if the other one sung it as such, because it wasn't their personal story. So that was kind of an interesting concept. But the fact that you had written a song about your dad at the same time, because you found out that you were going to become a dad yourself.
Become a dad. Gosh, yeah. So it's just amazing how this journey.
But also, it's weird because we spend a whole lot of time together, and a lot of the time we think we know what each other's thinking, and it's sometimes a bit weird because we do. You'll sit there and I'm like, I know what he's thinking, or I know when she's going to sing that line or something like that, and it's strange.
Well, people also assume we are together, like romantically. And I remember people saying like, "Oh, Chris, you look great for someone who's just had a baby," and it was like, "No, someone else."
It's not me, thanks.
I love this. It's such a beautiful song.
Smell of Old Spice, flat cap on the dash, windows roll down in the rain, white lines flying past, singing along with the radio, a little out of tune. Hanging on to that steering wheel was the man who hung the moon. Used to wrap my hands around his little finger. Turns out he was wrapped around mine. He said you can be anything you want to in this great big world, but I'm always gonna be Daddy's little girl. He always used to tell me, don't grow up too fast. Love will come, love will go. Your first won't be your last. I didn't always listen when he gave me advice. Now I hate to admit it, but that man was always right. Used to wrap my hands around his little finger. Turns out he was wrapped around mine. He said you can be anything you want to in this great big world, but I'm always gonna be Daddy's little girl. Daddy's little girl. When I count my blessings, I know where to start. He might not hold my hand no more, but he'll always, always hold my heart. Used to wrap my hands around his little finger. Turns out he was wrapped around mine. He said you can be anything you want to in this great big world, but I'm always gonna be, yes, I'm always gonna be Daddy's little girl. Daddy's little girl. Do you know, the line I love in that song also is the hand. He might not hold my hand no more,
Yeah.
but he'll always hold my heart. And I love that kind of can signify either that they're not here. You know, he is not here for me. He's not here anymore. Or perhaps, you know, you're a grown adult now and he's not necessarily holding your hand to walk you down the street and stuff. And I just love that kind of two meaning for that sort of words. I love that.
Man, do you know what? And I think people hang on every single word when you sing that. You know, we played, you know, these quite big stages and you can just hear a pin drop.
It's crazy how quiet it is in that song, isn't it? It's,
definitely.
You know, and I tend not to look at the crowd because there's usually somebody's got a tear in their eye, and if somebody's going, I'm most likely going to go myself. So
I've seen people like breaking down in the crowd. I've seen them just like dabbing, and then they're like just gushing. You know, it's.
I think there's been some like grown men that have said, I think there was like some dust in the air because like my eyes were watering for some reason. But yeah,
they are so good. This creator session has been such a joy, because it's the first time that we've had the opportunity to watch a duo interact and talk about navigating this creative journey together. I have to say though, Ben and Chrissy were meant to be a country duo, not just because of the way that they harmonize, but because of the way they collaborate. When we sat down to talk through creator sessions, it was so cool to see the way they offered up ideas to showcase something they loved about the other person and their talent. And throughout this whole session, you can clearly see how well they work together and how fun it was for them to dig into their creative process. What Chrissy and Ben have done is actually quite remarkable, because when they started 7 years ago, there wasn't really a place to play country music in the UK. The demand just wasn't there. It took consistency. It took time. But most importantly, it took them building relationships with their audience and taking a more traditional American genre and transforming it into something that connected with their hometown audience. As a result, they paved the way for country music in the UK. That is pretty cool. Ben and Chrissy, the Shires, are going to close us out the same way they end most of their live shows, with one of my personal favorites, 1,000 Hallelujahs. I'm Haley, and thank you for joining us this week on Creator Sessions.
It's amazing, this whole journey. I think, especially, I love the idea that you write these songs, and I don't know how you feel about it, but for me, it's like they start as this little idea, and we've always got our phones with us or a notepad or whatever. Phones, not notepad.
Yes. On our phones, notepads, whatever, laptops.
But you
anything.
start, and I think sometimes I try not to daydream anymore because you start going, you start writing. I mean, you know what I'm like. I'm always like, this is the best song I've ever written, and sometimes they aren't. Often they aren't. You can't write the best song every single day, but you dream about these moments, and I mean. Nashville Grace, the first song we played, I didn't dream we'd play it in a huge stage one day.
No.
I just wrote the song, and I love seeing that journey from the writing to the studio to the stage. I absolutely love it. And
it's quite hard, usually, the process to pick the songs. I mean, some of them do really stand out, and a lot of the time, especially in the early days, we would literally just record a demo off of our phone. We'd put our phones in the middle of the room and we would all record. It would just be one guitar. Maybe the both of us would sing, or maybe one of us would sing, or somebody would record a vocal part over it. And that would be the demo. And that would be put in with all the other songs that, even now there's so much more kind of production that is in the studio with us, in the writer's room with us when we're writing. So that, we listen to every single demo that's created, and whether that be just the guitar and vocal, or whether that's kind of a bit more production on it. And that kind of process of, narrowing down like 50 odd songs that we've written. And this is songs that, like, even here we are on our fourth album, we're still backtracking to songs that were written, prior to the band being together, or even just album 1, 2, like we never like to kind of forget about songs and bring them back whenever we can.
I think that's such a skill as well, because it's so easy to be kind of
next.
No, to come back to the thing. No, but yeah, definitely. But also the thing you're talking about, the demo. If it's like a big flashy demo and it sounds like a record already, you can often think that's a better song than maybe a song that is just on a guitar. And I think
this is where I struggle sometimes, because the thing with Ben that you do is that you'll be playing the guitar and you'll be strumming away and singing the parts. And he's like, I'm hearing all of this going on. And I'm like, I'm not hearing that. He's like, he's literally like, I've got this solo. It's like, wow, wow. Like some like kind of cat. And I'm like, right.
That's quite funny.
Okay.
Because a lot of them like be in the room. Like this song, actually, we're going to play in a minute. I remember it going, and we're in the studio with the guitarists and they were playing it. I was like, no, this is the solo. And they did it. They did exactly what I did. But no, I mean, it's this song is. I love this song, and it's funny actually talking about what we're talking about, because you didn't really like this song at first.
I was not a big fan of this one right from the beginning. I don't know. Maybe it was something in the demo, and it was just a guitar and vocal track at the time, and I could not hear the kind of whole finished production that you were hearing. And it weren't until we'd got into the studio, and all the musicians on our second album, we went into a studio in Nashville and we recorded everything down as kind of as live as possible, really, with everybody kind of in their rooms at the same time. And it weren't until that kind of moment, I still wasn't sold on the song until we'd got to that moment in the studio. I couldn't hear all what you were hearing in your head, like how you imagined this song sounding. And it really, we got into the studio and you were like, I think it should be like this and like this and this. And the whole track just came alive. And I was like, oh, I see.
But then it took on another level when we played this live as well.
Completely,
so I remember people just fell in love with it. But what was fascinating, we played a show in Bristol in the UK, and the chorus goes, hallelujah, hallelujah. and I love gospel. I love sort of church music, and I was just imagining, a big gospel choir going hallelujah kind of thing. But I don't know if did you do it? Did you mean to do it? Chrissy kind of put her hands up.
I used to be in a gospel choir like years ago, and we'd always be using our hands to kind of be expressive when we sing. And, when you sing hallelujah, you just kind of put your hands up in the air. And so I always did it, regardless, like if anyone else wanted to join me, but I was always hallelujah, up in the air.
I don't know, we played about maybe 5 shows in that tour already. Yeah. And then Bristol, something like Bristol, everyone just copied you in the audience.
I remember it. It was like, we were like, what is going on?
You've seen 2,000 people just suddenly go, and it was amazing, especially as Brits as well, because we're not always the most, we're quite reserved often, I think.
And of course, we quickly grabbed our phone and filmed it and put it up online straight after the gig. And then that's just happened at every show ever since. Like it's, if you haven't been to one of our shows because you're that person that's not joining in. Or sometimes there's those cool people in the audience.
They're reluctant for a while.
Yeah, who I usually will I'll pick them out and be like, come on. Because in fact, it's like, you want to say, a lot of the time we're British and we're reserved, so we don't want to be part of that. But often when you do put your hands up in the air and sing along, you have a great time, let's be honest.
And it's the thing I've missed, this, like I said before, this year with the pandemic and stuff, it's been an unusual year, especially for us. And people often say to me, what's the best part about, well, they say you've got the best job in the world. And I do think I've got the best job in the world. We definitely do. But the thing I love the most, I love creating. I'm in it for the creating. That's I love the songwriting. If I had to choose, I'd be a songwriter.
And you need to keep writing all the time.
Yeah.
It's just within you.
Yeah, and it's why it works with us though, because you came from more of a performing background. I came from more of a songwriting background. But sort of being on stage with you and learning from you on stage, and seeing the way you can have fun with the crowd and affect people's lives, and essentially really just looking out and seeing a sea of happy people. It's the thing I've missed the most, just seeing all these smiling faces and just people. It's not even escapism. It's just everyone connecting in a moment. And again, this song, it wasn't written with the intention of getting everyone to go hallelujah. It was just like, it's a love song. And it's like, when I saw you, my heart sang hallelujah. But 2,000 people want to get up and they want to do it. And it's the thing, I just can't wait to get back out there whenever that is. Obviously we need to be safe, but I want to get back out and do it again, because it's something so amazing and human about being with other people, doing the same thing, enjoying a moment. And
the other thing about this song actually is that, over our 4 albums, we've not necessarily had a hit song, and often when you go and see artists play, they play their biggest song. Whatever the biggest song is, they leave it to the last song. Whereas we haven't really had that as such. So we get to pick how the flow of a set as to what songs we've got, and this song is, I don't know, we've never not finished with this one really when it comes to live shows. And even just as soon as we've kind of finished, hands up in the air and, thanks so much everybody, and we walk off, the boys start playing us out, and it's just so uplifting to kind of perform that song last. I just love it.
Will happen again soon.
Yes,
definitely.
It will.
Right now, we'll do it in your living room.
Yes.
It's 1,000 hallelujahs. I've been foolish, I've been mistaken, I've been blinded, I felt my heart breaking. I've seen lonely, I've seen leaving, felt like the only one believing in love. I've tried love, and that's why I sang 1,000 hallelujahs the moment I saw you. Told 1,000,000 angels I was walking on water. They left heaven open, so I walked through that door, and my heart sang hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. The moment I saw you, my heart sang hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. The moment I saw you, my love. I remember, yeah, smile, broke into a laughing, how it drove me wild.
I found faith, new religion, found my meaning,
The meaning of living for your love. That's why, my love.
that's why
I sang 1,000 hallelujahs the moment I saw you. Told 1,000,000 angels I was walking on water. They left heaven open, so I walked through that door and my heart sang hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. The moment I saw you, my heart sang hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. The moment I saw you, my
oh, the guitar solo.
I sang 1,000 hallelujahs. I raised up my hands, told 1,000,000 angels, I understand love. Hey! Hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. The moment I saw you, my heart sang hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. The moment I saw you, my love.
Yay!
Oh, man,
I
so
love
much
that
fun.
live. Actually, we break it down, don't we?
Yeah.
And we make everybody sing along with us and put their hands up in the air, and it's like an extended version up on stage, isn't it?
So so much fun.
Ah,
This has been so much fun, though.
this has been a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for having us creator sessions.
Yeah, we hope you guys have enjoyed getting a little behind the scenes of what goes into what we get up to on a regular basis. Isn't it?
Definitely. And yeah, just thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.